Hello concert band brass players. I'm looking here at the last technical etude, the one on the bottom of the page. Remember, you only need to pick one etude from each side, so if you're already doing a different technical etude, you obviously don't also need to prepare this one. Before we start, make sure you have your music and a pencil at least, and probably your instrument too, so that you can try some stuff out as we go along. So this etude is from the Charlier book. The Charlier book, which is one of the more well-known and difficult trumpet etude books. But don't worry, this is just the first few lines from the first etude, etude number 1. So it's not. Hopefully it's playable. If you look on YouTube, it's pretty well known, so you can probably find some recordings if you search for Charlier 1 of the full thing. So first glance, you see we have key signature of concert E flat. Time signature is 6/8, and it's a very steady, just straight eighth notes, 6/8. So no issues here. The thing to really watch out for in this etude is going to be the slurring and tonguing patterns. So at first, it's not too bad. You've got a couple slurs here. But then here, it's a little bit different, right? You slur all the way into this beat. Same here. And down here, it starts getting a little bit hairy as well. So that's that's kind of what really makes the music, is getting those slurs correct. So, first phrase, we'll go up to about here. And sans force in French means literally without force. Probably better translation would be not forced or not forceful. So just sort of a gentle, light forte. It should sound easy if you do it right. So I'll play the first phrase for you, and then we'll go on. So you'll notice it moves along at a pretty good tempo, and hopefully at least it sounds pretty easy. It shouldn't sound difficult at all. Little accent on, the accents, but a little bit of emphasis there sounds nice. Just kind of exaggerate those accidentals is really what they're doing. So the second phrase is almost identical. It starts off the exact same way. It really only varies at the very end in the last measure here. So otherwise, it's just piano. You will notice this note in between here, right here. It's got parentheses around it, and there's a breath mark above it. What that means is that if you need a breath there, you should leave that note out and take a breath. And when I play the whole thing through, at the end, I'll do that for you so you can kind of hear what that sounds like. So here's the second phrase. It is almost the exact same thing, but piano. And you will notice that I added a little bit of a crescendo in that last measure to kind of bring us into this next kind of hairy section. Mezzo forte, play at a comfortable dynamic, don't overdo it. And the thing here is really just notes, right? Lots of accidentals, lots of fairly involved slur, tongue, staccato, accent stuff going on. Basically, anytime you have a slur, you want to accent the first note of that, like it says, and the middle notes should always be staccato. There's a pattern, sort of, once you've played it a few times, that I think you'll kind of naturally fall into. Don't worry too much about these accents. They will come as long as you're doing the slurs correctly. So, if you're having trouble with the section, and I would imagine that it's probably not easy, start slowly and start with very small chunks. So maybe you want to start at the end, usually a good place to start. And you just start with these last two notes. Just that slur down into the last note. And once you can actually play that, you add the whole beat before, and you play that much of it. Then you add one more note, that kind of awkwardly high note in there. And then you add the next beat. And then that's probably a big enough chunk. So then you play the next measure back, and you master that part of it. And then, after that, you add those two together. And then you work your way backwards until you can play the whole last part of it pretty cleanly and easily. So I'll go ahead and play the last section. This should sound just as easy as the first section if you are doing it fluently. So, obviously a little bit more difficult. Hopefully I'll get it when I play through the whole thing for you at the end so you can actually hear what it sounds like. So, if you've been following this whole time, really the main theme here is easy and light and maybe crisp. But easy is really it. If it sounds easy, you're probably doing it right. Get the slurs, get the accents, get the notes, and you'll be good. So I'm going to play the whole thing for you so you can just kind of hear how it all strings together. Listen for when I'm going to leave this note out so I can take a breath and get through the next phrase. Otherwise, I think that's it. So good luck preparing this one. Have fun. It's a fun etude. And yeah, here we go. A little closer there that second time.